All right, hello and welcome back to another video. And today we are doing something that has been requested a lot, but we've got our test subject here. Ian, we're gonna hit some drivers.
I think it's every year the two big dogs, they tend to release against one another at sort of embargo dates and things like that. And you know, there may be better drivers out there in the marketplace, but people always want to know who's better, TaylorMade or Callaway. It's like, you know, it's just that rivalry. You know, it's the Knicks and the Lakers, isn't it?
Yeah, there's always that battle, even within the fitting base. You know, what are we pulling more of? It's not necessarily what do we pull more of, but who's winning out, you know, after every fit. And we see trends quite a bit where it leans from one brand to the other every season. And when we do a wrap up, like we've done on the pod or whatever, you know, people are, what's your favorite driver? And it might be your favorite driver, but it might not be the number one performing one for us. So this will be an interesting test.
Both of them really kind of talking up their metal wood game this year. I think more than really what they have been in the last couple of years. Obviously, carbon face, we've got Rogue ST, you know, the claims coming out of Callaway, you know, best driver they've ever had. Let's see, you know, let's test it and see. We've finally kind of specced out two drivers the way we like them. You know, we've got the Acra RPG 462 M5 Plus. This is a big boys driver.
Yeah.
I don't know if I've got enough in the locker for this thing, but we'll see, and it looks good. We've got the Stealth with the 1K, which obviously is my gamer. It has been for a while. 7 degrees on the Rogue ST, 7.25 on the Stealth. So we're trying to match things up the best we can.
Mm-hmm. We're going to flip a coin to see which one is going to go first in this test here.
Okay.
So big logo, TaylorMade.
Big logo TaylorMade.
Big logo TaylorMade.
Small logo
Callaway.
Okay.
Small logo Callaway.
Callaway is. I'd love at this point to know from you guys, do you prefer the range or do you prefer on the golf course? We debate that one. I like doing it on the golf course. A lot of people like to see us doing these tests in the range. You know, we're going to do this one in the range, but personally, I think the golf course is a more real, you know, the FSX range is a more real version because we can see, you know, how much we miss it by and kind of, you know, what the penalties may be. But again, I want to pass that over to the viewers to let us know on that.
Sounded good.
Bit better. Better launch conditions, but still not all that quick. 157, okay, that's a bit more normal. Better strike.
That's maximizing launch conditions.
A little bit quicker there.
159, yeah, that's better. Being off camera or on camera, this is the straightest I've seen you hit a driver in a long time. I know you said this a couple of weeks ago that you're hitting driver really straight right now and maybe sacrificing a bit of speed, but you're super, super consistent.
Yeah, no, it's driver swings feel great right now. Yeah. They really do. Yeah, even last week's testing with the shafts and stuff like that, I felt like I was just kind of standing up there, kind of point and shoot. It was a nice feeling.
Okay, so number 2, Stealth Plus. This is, you know, again, we see it everywhere. I feel like you're seeing black and red all over social media right now. It's a popular one. This will be an interesting test. I mean, your ball speed today, we know we've seen quicker, so it'll be interesting to see how these two compare and fight each other.
Well, that first ball was any impression?
I'm not sure why. I just always feel like I can move this driver faster. You know, it's the same effort level. It just feels like for whatever reason, I just move these drivers at a quicker rate. I mean, still good efficiency. It's, you know, it's kind of all the stuff we saw from the other driver, really. But it just moves quicker, so the ball speed ends up having more output.
Yeah, yeah.
I didn't feel my best swing, but I kind of quite like the flight off it.
The Callaway is certainly very straight. Yeah. I mean, we're talking a few yards here and there when we're talking about overall distance and ball speed. But as far as straight is concerned, you're definitely getting like everything out of the Callaway.
Yeah.
Great straight.
Really
like,
good.
I feel like I'm straighter with this one, RB.
To be honest with you, I was kind of with RB on that. Like, you have, I feel like, turned it over or played that baby draw more with the Callaway than you have with the TaylorMade.
Stuck.
Driver swing looks good.
Does it?
All right, so we've had our first head-to-head battle. We are now on to set 2 with the Callaway. Ian, what's your first impression?
I love the feel. I loved how straight the Callaway went, barring 2 bad swings, right? And I'll take ownership of the 2. The one went slightly left, I hit it in the toe. One went slightly right. I just hung open. And there's 3 that were right down the middle. The TaylorMade, I definitely found my groove a little bit with it. I thought I had my timing a little bit better, but I think that's largely down to being so familiar with the timing of it. That 50-gram X-Flex 1K is just, we're just ham and egging it together right now. We just go well together. Whereas this is a different animal. This is a little bit probably more than my speed can handle right now. So the reason I put it in there was because I was kicking up the spin too much in the Callaway. So I do like the launching conditions I've got with this one. So I'm probably, a bit like the TPT video. I feel like maybe I'm lacking a little bit of pop, and leaning towards the accuracy a bit more with this particular shaft. But maybe let's have a little peek at the halftime numbers and see what we're looking at.
So right now, looking at ball speed, Stealth is definitely ahead for sure. Lower launch angle, that's going to help contribute to some of that speed. And then, as far as if we're talking standard deviation of your backspin, they're actually almost basically bang on.
Yeah, both nice.
Yeah. And then again, so going into the club data, you were swinging the Stealth close to, we'll say, 2 miles an hour faster. Mm-hmm. You're getting that dynamic loft into your sweet spot. I know we talked about it, but again, we're 0.3 off. Yeah. So very, very similar in that sense. And then everything else across the board is very close. So, the one telltale thing that we're looking at here is strike point.
Yeah.
Right. And the other part too is we saw that lower strike with the Stealth, mm-hmm. but we're not seeing the higher spin.
Definitely.
So it could be just a matter of the fact that the face where you're missing it on a particular driver mm-hmm. just happens to work better for your strike pattern.
Yeah, exactly right. Well, I'll work in that a little bit here. I'll try and see if I can kind of pull the strike inward a little bit more with the Rogue and certainly get some more upward. I didn't feel like I was hitting them that low in the head at that illustration, but I certainly there was a couple of thin ones in there. All right, let's jump into round 2. Better strike, just a bit open.
I know we've talked about it with our friend Johnny Wonder over at Callaway there about the idea of there's a launch monitor driver, and then there's a golf course driver, right? And listening to your feedback here, right? Obviously, you're getting in this particular test a little bit more ball speed with the TaylorMade, mm-hmm. but the Callaway numbers are still very good,
very
right? And that's
good,
something you can take to the golf course, no problem.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we said it in a previous video. Mike was doing the fairway wood test, and you actually walk into one fitting bay, and one fitter might like what the Callaway's offering a little bit more, a little more spin, little more launch. Very consistent on launch direction, all those sorts of things. I would encourage all fitters and players who are going to be fit, don't always lean towards ball speed. Try not to be impressed by the potential distance or output via ball speed. It's a great metric. It really is. It's a great metric for how you're striking it, but it's not the be-all and end-all for the winning driver.
And I'll add to it, when you're getting fit, know what you're getting fit for. We talked about this again in the fairway wood video. You know why you're getting fit for that club. Don't just you don't hit it on a range all the time. There's certain courses you have course management that you need that specific club for, and some people might not need the lowest spinning driver, put them into trouble a lot of times. Mm-hmm. So that is definitely key for, like you said, fitters, but also for consumers. Know what you're getting fit for.
Definitely. I swing a little quicker there with the Callaway, give it a bit of a fighting chance.
Did you hit a little straighter for us there, Ian?
I'll try, RB.
There's the ball speed.
Yeah, I squeeze a little bit out myself there just to try and get a little bit more, but I love this driver, I really do. I think these launch conditions are so good. 12 and 23, 12 and 2200 on the spin. 285 carry.
Great swing.
Nicely done. Not as straight as the last one.
Come on. 2.7 offline. Come on.
All right, so we are now on to set 2 with the Stealth. And in this case, we've seen some good speed out of the Callaway now.
Back a little bit there, didn't it? At the end, it definitely had some good ones. I felt like I controlled the strike really well with that Callaway. Kind of had that just centred on the equator, slightly toe side. I kind of like to see that. Kind of gives me that little push draw that I love to see. So, but it was some quicker ones there, 163, 161 on the last one there. So catching up with the Stealth. Just a hair thin.
Still a good swing.
Toy, good one.
Saved you.
It's too bad. That was such a good strike. Hair open in the face.
Interesting how much more right this driver wants to produce. Like I know you're talking about a couple different things, but it's interesting. Like that Callaway
felt quite easy just to get a roll with that Callaway, to be honest.
Good swing there.
See, it's just a hair low in the. Well, it was toy, but it's the hair low in the strike, lower in the strike with the TaylorMade. Yeah, it's the strike point. Definitely losing the strike on this one, but I can't argue with the. I mean, it's a ball and play at a decent distance.
All right, so we've gone 2 sets, both drivers. What was your impression of them before Mike gives us the number rundown here?
I think I'm really glad we done 2 rounds with them because I felt like I was good with the TaylorMade first round. I know the strike was a little bit low and I was conscious of that, and I was conscious to try and make a little adjustment to the second set with that. Turns out I couldn't do it. As much as I kind of tried to play with it and stuff like that, there were things at play there that I couldn't control, which was actually really interesting to see. The Callaway I could get on a run with, right? And I feel like that's, you could have a really good day hitting 10, 11 fairways with that Callaway and just switch off and autopilot it out there, 280 on the carry. I absolutely loved that. I can't help but kind of turn my head to the ball speed and go, what could we do to try and combine definitely the speed of the TaylorMade with the consistency of the Callaway. That's what it feels like to me in terms of the shakeout.
I think taking shaft to shaft, trying them in both heads, really comparing spec, looking at your builds. We know that the Acra is a little bit lighter in swing weight versus your 10C White, so making that a little bit more consistent and really seeing if that can help increase, or improve strike. The Stealth is faster. We know that for you, but again, RB and I back here, we said it earlier. The Callaway just looks so easy to hit.
Yeah.
And, from the past, when I've even hit a Callaway driver, the Callaway just feels like you could hit it one hand and it's going to kind of stay in the shape that you want to hit it. And I'm all for, I'm all for speed and distance, but if you could hit a driver as consistently like you did the Rogue, again, I know we're talking about strike a little bit, but that Callaway to me, if I was a fitter, I'd be showing you, look at the consistency. Both really efficient. It's just, again, I think that the Callaway for you was a really good performer.
Yeah. It's always interesting to see as well because, in your position as the observers versus the person who's in the bay, trying to do their best to make some decent swings, it's a different experience. You know, you guys get a chance to maybe observe my body language around one. You know, you kind of see the ones I'm maybe flinching at to save a little bit if I get the club in a certain spot. And I think there was a bit of that, more of that going on with the TaylorMade, wasn't there? A bit more kind of the hands trying to save some kind of odd deliveries. So I can definitely see why you say that. Let's have a look maybe at the club. Yeah, perfect. So both efficient, obviously. So it's not really a ball speed thing. It's a club speed thing.
Yeah.
So something about the speed, whether it's acceleration through the shaft. I'd love to maybe roll reverse and go with something that maybe, you know, accelerates a little bit more, releases that head a little bit more in the Callaway. I'd be curious about that.
Autoflex versus, right?
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, yeah, definitely. If you can get the loft low enough with that Callaway, which I'm really pleased. I mean, we set that 9-degree triple diamond with the left-handed cog to turn it down to 7. So we reversed it, put the lefty cog at +2, which brings us down to 7 degrees. You know, it got us in a perfect launch window. We were kind of saying that last time we tested it. We didn't really feel like we'd done it justice because we had too much loft on it. Well, I feel like this was definitely enough, because hitting that sweet spot of 16.6, 16.7 dynamic loft, I can't ask more of the drivers. The launch conditions are, you know, if they're not right, it's because of the strike point, not because of the delivery of the loft. So good to see.
And the end result was like 3 or 4 yards, right? When we average everything out, we're talking 3 or 4 yards, or 3 yards exactly. So it always comes down to what is going to work best in each individual fitting. Head-to-head, in your case today, no Stealth came out on top for ball speed, but you could take both those golf clubs to the course and have no issue at all. So as we say, it always comes down to what's going to work best for you head-to-head when you are in a fitting bay. For us today, you know, we put 2 drivers head-to-head, both got great results, and only a few yards difference, but one definitely was preferred by yourself, Ian. So always take this in mind when you are testing drivers or any club head-to-head, like Mike, when you did earlier on your fairwoods. Make sure you get fit and not just look at what goes the furthest, but also what works best all the way around. So I hope you enjoyed this video. There's more to come, and thanks for watching.